Right, so Nikita, they tell us that your camp went after Darkon for this next fight. Did you have any say in that, or was that something your manager takes care for you?
Manager does everything. I'm just a soldier that follows orders.
So, did you know anything about Darkon before they approached him?
No, not really. They told me as always he's going to be a threat. There's going to be a tough fight. There's no kind of easy fights in this sport, and yeah, they showed me who he is, and I did my study. But I've known about him for quite some time now. I remember watching him on YouTube back in the days when he was throwing darts at each other with his brother. So I've known the kind of character this guy is, and watching him fight, I think it was at the Hogan fight, was it? Yeah. I got to see who he is and what he's capable of.
So when you saw that clip of him throwing darts with his brother, you realise he's pretty much got no fear or no brains.
That's good. That's good.
So is that intimidating to go up against someone who's got no fear?
I don't think it's intimidating. It's a new experience. You gotta, like this, in my early stage of my career, I gotta experience as much different kind of people, different kind of fighters as possible. I need to build my my archive of information, so I'm just prepared for everything. So
what kind of a challenge does he present? He said he's going to knock you out and genuinely knock you out in 5. What sort of challenge does he present?
The challenge he'll bring will be more of just like a toughness where he can throw punches, he can throw powerful punches, and they have damage to them. They have weight to them. So
you've got to be, I guess, extra fit maybe, like quicker on your toes.
I just got to be smart. I got to be smart, and I've got to not fight his fight and stick to my own game plan, and really play with the fundamentals of the sport and go back to basics.
You've enjoyed plenty of support coming to Newcastle. Obviously the Tszyu name is pretty synonymous in town now. What's it going to be like taking on someone who is genuinely from Newcastle in Newcastle?
I actually prefer to be more of an underdog and prefer to not fight in my hometown. I'm honestly not a fan of fighting in Sydney, and it's always been like that. So I love going out of my comfort zone and out of my little bubble. So it's going to be interesting to hear kind of more support for him. But yeah, I live for this stuff.
And I guess that's a good place to start if you're going to do things like on the international stage, because obviously you're going to be going overseas, you're going to be doing other things. So to be able to fight in front of a not so friendly crowd is obviously a great benefit.
Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, the crowds, they don't really have that much of an impact on the fights. At the end of the day, you've got to be able to block all that information out. You've got to block all those noises, and you're the one that controls it, not the crowd.
Is the fight about your defensive skills more than anything?
It's going to be more about just showing a different style. Just showing. I've been researching different types of styles for each fight, and trying to adapt a new kind of side of boxing. So you'll see more of like a technically sound kind of performance.
We don't see many boxers come up here with a smile on their face and skipping down the foreshore. But what's the difference when you get into training? You just put the blinkers on and you become a different beast once you enter the ring?
I don't have my wraps on, so nothing's kind of ticking in my head to kind of get ready to fight someone. So I'm just being myself. Yeah. I like to skip around.
But I mean, once you put your focus to it, though, mate, it's a different.
Yeah, it's just like a switch. It's just like a switch and something else. I kind of feel like I have a second personality, and when the time comes, he takes over, and it's just a different person.
Well, where are you training wise? Dryden said that he sort of got 6 weeks to prepare from scratch. Do you feel like you might have a physical fitness advantage over him, or is the next 6 weeks really?
I've had a 1 month off. I haven't trained. I started last week, and that's about it. I was chilling around, walking my dogs all the time for the last month. So we're in the same boat.
What's the switch then for you to say, right, I'm ready for the next fight, the next challenge?
Just being like this. You gotta keep fighting in this sport. You gotta build up the experience. You've got to. You can't really shy away from challenges, and it's just all about growth.
You mentioned that you've been researching different styles of fighting and what you can bring to this next fight, you also take a lot on from like your family's boxing, the traditional, I guess, way that they box as well with your training and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I try and adapt a lot of different things. Like my uncle teaches me all the fundamentals and the kind of the game plan that we're going to approach, but I also try and bring my own things. I also try and bring my own things to show him that these kind of little moves could be better. And this is why we have such a great relationship, because we give and take, and we constantly just share information to each other.
We're going to see a different side of your boxing up here in 6 weeks' time?
You'll see something different. You'll see something a little bit... Well, I don't want to kind of say exactly what I'm going to do, but you'll see something different.
I know you don't like giving predictions, but yesterday he said he finishes you in 5 and his dad said he finishes you in 3. What do you have to sort of say about the predictions? Do you think the fight goes the distance?
Could go the distance. He's a tough competitor. I haven't seen him like really cop a shot yet, so I don't know how strong his chin is. But let him think that it's going to be a quick fight. Let him think that he's going to stop me, because just his own self-confidence.
You talked about your own character before. You like to be yourself outside of the ring. Then the Undertaker theme song comes on and they walk out to a fight. pretty scary stuff. He's got a face mask on as he walks into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you find that intimidating at all, or do you find that enjoyable?
Well, the Undertaker stuff wasn't even meant to be intimidating. It's just kind of it's kind of a bit of nostalgia into the stuff into like the whole just wrestling, combat. This is where everything began with me.